The mystery gang is on the case as 5 meddling kids solve the case of their internships. Starting with Ben Heaps, who's an electronic media major from Skysville, Maryland, whose mystery was in Baltimore, where he did film work on site and remote locations. Then we flip to Andrew Price, another electronic media major from across the state. His mystery took place close to home, cracking the code of video editing. Wyatt Clatterbaugh will follow. He's a sports comm major with a focus on announcing, whose mystery resided in, get this, Minot, North Dakota, where he wrote, was a cameraman and a designer. I think he wins the award for the furthest distance. Gina Reeves, who's an electronic media major from Carmichael's, PA, will be next. Her mystery involves the social media content behind Greene County. Then, to wrap things up, will be Samantha Swisher. She's a PR major from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Her mystery involved keeping things engaging and organized when reaching out to people through Circle of Women. 5 interns, 5 mysteries. Were they solved? I don't know. Let's find out.
All right, so as Price said, I did go to Minot, North Dakota, and there's a saying in Minot, North Dakota called "Why not Minot?" And that was definitely something I was thinking about when I traveled 21 hours to North Dakota to work for the Tots and Honeybees baseball and softball teams this summer. So the itinerary for the afternoon, I'm going to talk about who I worked for, what my duties and responsibilities were, the work I produced, pros and cons of the job, and what I learned, and then a little conclusion, and then questions as well. So first, my bosses in the top was Monica Hawking. She was the GM of both of these teams. It was actually the 3rd year that this team had been just a team in general. Second for the softball team. She was the person I went to for final say in things, final say in ideas. So if it was a theme night activity, if it was something to post on their social media, if it was something to just kind of create for a caption or anything, and I'll get to a little bit of that later when I talk about the work I did, she was the one I went to. And then Caitlin Lund, who's on the bottom, she was my main point of contact. She was the one who gave me all my assignments for the day, all my responsibilities, both in the office and at the ballpark. She was just the main point of contact. She was the person that I went to for everything when it came to what I needed to get done for the day. So duties and responsibilities was camera setup and teardown, and that was a lot harder than you think because the tripods were held up by duct tape. So not really the ideal setup or teardown for that, but there was also a fun zone, and myself and a bunch of the other media interns would rotate doing that setup as well, and that was kind of an annoying process. But wiping down tables, I worked first base side most of the summer, so just making sure everything looked good on that side before the game actually start. I did interviews with players and coaches, and this was a little bit hard because players and coaches would tend to show up maybe 2 hours before the game, some even an hour before the game, and I kind of had to squeeze it in there before we could edit it to get onto our stream, and then pregame and postgame interviews as well. So some of the work I did, these are just some of the captions and posters I made. The one in the middle was for one of the theme nights that we did. That was really fun to make, and I drove around Minot delivering it to local businesses. Well, one on top was for local businesses to come and do a home run derby. So I kind of had to create a image and then create a caption for that. The announcement of the mascot for the softball team was another one. So just a lot of different things going on at one time. So that was a lot of fun to do. A lot of tedious work, but a lot of work that I thoroughly enjoyed doing. So then these are just a couple, this is one of me announcing, and then there's another one of me doing camera work, so I will just play those if I can. So this was a game against the Duluth Huskies, and we ended up taking the lead. It was the second game. And then this one was camera work that I had done after this strikeout as he's walking off the mound, just getting to do that and getting to show a nice shot of him doing that. So that was a lot of the work. I also had pregame interviews, had other things that I did as well, but due to the time crunch, can't show, but it was a lot of fun doing those as well, getting to talk to other coaches in winning moments. I also got to do an interview for a walk-off game. I got water dumped on me as well, so that was a lot of fun too. If it'll let me go to the, cool. And then this is just some more work I did. So the one on the right is just a rundown of everything that was there. At the end of the year, we had to do a kind of a tear down kind of thing and just see what condition a lot of things were in. So I was in charge of making that list and making it as thorough as I could and make sure see what we had, see what we didn't have, see what they had to buy for next year, things like that. The one on the top was for an ad read and a promotion for our Hawaiian night. So I had to kind of come up with an idea of a quick ad read, promotional read that they could do on the radio at their local radio station in Minot, and just kind of talk about how fun Hawaiian night was going to be and the activities that were going on for that night as well. And then in the bottom was a history of Corbett Field. Corbett Field had players like Hank Aaron play on there. Joe Torre managed in that area as well. So this is just a little part of it that I wrote. I also wrote another article about a farewell from Tate our Tot, who was the mascot. I don't have it on here, but that was another thing that I ended up doing as well, which was a lot of fun. So the pros, getting to work for a summer league baseball team, a lot of things go into it. I got there on March 5th. The season didn't start until the 20th, so we had about 3 weeks just to kind of put things together, from putting the ballpark together, getting everything ready in the office, getting tickets out, season tickets out, promotional work, everything like that. It was a lot of work to do, and just being able to be a part of it and get to work in that atmosphere was a lot of fun. Again, another one was the atmosphere itself. The fans, the people around me were just a lot of fun to work with, and they made coming to the ballpark, coming to the office fun every single day. The experiences that I got, again, working camera, figuring out what the best shots are. Now I can apply that for Woosin when I hopefully do eventually get to work camera. Just anything and everything that I did was a lot of fun. And then the relationships, a lot of the interns that I worked with, I still talk to this day. So it was just a lot of fun in that aspect to just talk to those guys, really get to know them, get to work with those guys. And I have working relationships to this day that I will not ever forget. Now for the cons. So the crew was not always reliable. There were many times where we were short-staffed, and especially when there's a 3-camera system, you got an announcer, you got people in the back. Everybody's important, and some people just were not always on time. They weren't even there sometimes, period, and we had to pull somebody from another internship group to take over, which was not a fun time either. As I mentioned, short-staffed, just nobody showing up, so then we kind of had to pull people. I remember at one point we pulled somebody from the on-field team, excitement team, and we were like, hey, can you run a camera for us for tonight? So it was not really a fun time. Not on time. There were many people who were late and just didn't get there, and would get there like 20 minutes before the game started, so not always great. And consistency was very questionable, so some of the times, myself included, there would be times when I would miss a camera shot, or I'd miss a cue for when I'm live or something like that, or everybody would just kind of miss something, and we weren't always as consistent. And then what I learned, how to work for a major baseball team. So they did 72 games in 76 days, so I was working constantly. I rarely got a day off, but so it was a lot of work, a lot of tedious things going on, but that was a lot of fun. How much prep goes into the game day? As I mentioned, getting everything ready beforehand. Then you got food you got to make. You got to set up your camera. You got to do the pregame and pregame stuff to put into the stream. Just a lot of things went into that. And then the fans are just as important as the team. So even though the team was struggling, you want to make sure you you have a smile on your face. You want to make sure you're excited and showing your support to the team, because that way the fans will get into it regardless of how good or bad the team was. And then everyone has a job to do. So even if you finished your job, myself included, I would always go and ask my Caitlin, I'd be like, what can I do next? What is something I can do just to help another team out? What is something that you need from me after I would finish my duties and responsibilities for the day? So, and that is the end. The Minot mystery has been solved. So any questions? I saw Benny first.
So you did like social media work, did interviews.
Yeah.
Were you anticipating like given the opportunity to announce? Because like announcing with how much preparation goes into it, you got to pay attention all year long.
Yeah.
I know that kind of goes with the interviews, but like were you ready for it, or was there like any bit of a hard transition from working camera and doing all the interviews?
It was definitely an interesting transition, because I did it on my days off, which was very rare that I had a day off. And they would ask me like maybe the night after everything was over, at the end of the night, hey, are you cool to announce? So getting everything together was a tough process. So I wasn't exactly ready for it, but I was able to adjust accordingly. And my partner was able to help me out as well. So that really made it interesting. I'll go in the corner.
How much impact did building beneficial relationships have on your success while working with this organization?
Absolutely. It was those relationships are very strong. I actually still talk to my boss, Caitlin, today. Just asked. She's actually at a new job now, but I talk to her all the time. I talk to a lot of my buddies just to see what they're doing with internships. And I know I have these guys in my back pockets that can write those letters of recommendation, that can reach out to somebody and say, hey, this guy is looking for a job, and he's really good, and just kind of support me in that aspect as well. So, well, with that, I only have time for 2 questions. So we are next going to send it over to Velma, aka Gina Reeves. She's going to be talking about the social media work that she did in Greene County. So without further ado, Gina.